Hello, this is Dr. Randy Clark. Welcome to week 6 of Great Speeches of the 20th Century. The goal of this week is to examine conspiracy arguments, reveal their complexities and weaknesses, and develop standards for judging their rationality or validity. In addition, we will examine how social movement leaders adjust the idea of violence to audiences and audiences to the idea of violence. Our discussion this week is an extension of last week's study in which we began to study the concept of argument so that we could better understand how movements propose and offer change. Conspiracy arguments, as we all well know, often become widely disseminated when we are looking to explain ambiguous evil or a pattern of anomalies. Understanding conspiracy arguments, their argumentative forms and fallacies will be helpful in critiquing specific conspiracy arguments and for us to gain a deeper understanding when looking at conspiracy arguments as a process in relation to competing arguments. And conspiracy arguments are extremely relevant in social movement and social movement theory. A persuader intent on weaving an argument claiming that a conspiracy is the cause or the best explanation of an event or body of fact starts from a decidedly underdog position, as you would expect. We will examine how those who would sell a conspiracy theory must create arguments with 3 essential persuasive characteristics. And these characteristics are often used to judge the validity of a conspiracy argument. First, they must undermine trust in the institution's ability and willingness to locate and tell the truth. Second, they must challenge the believability of the official explanation. And lastly, offer a more believable explanation. And we'll go into more depth and detail in looking at all 3 of these characteristics. Persuasion is a primary agency through which social movements attempt to bring about or resist change by satisfying essential functions. Violence is incidental in most social movements and is often perpetrated by institutional agents and opposition groups. Social movements are aware that a philosophy of nonviolence places them on the moral high ground. Most social movement leaders espouse nonviolence, but when nonviolence dominates the words and actions of movements, it is oftentimes spawns extremist elements and social movement organizations that will result to violence as an effective means to further their cause. Thus, we will examine the message of American radicals that have justified the use of violence as a persuasive strategy. So 2 very different objectives this week. 1, looking at conspiracy arguments, and 2, looking at the justification of violence in social movements. This week, you will be completing your final project draft as well. You will use the handout attached in Blackboard to organize your research paper for this draft. As always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Again, my name is Dr. Randy Clark. I'm your professor for Great Speeches of the 20th Century.